Hello and welcome to this live here at The Print. Today, we will be discussing the entire Karnataka crisis, but with a specific question that we are putting out to you. And this is whether the Kumaraswamy government has basically tried to buy more time by raising the bribery charges against the BJP and the whole allegations that they're making about poaching MLAs from their parties to try and increase the number of the BJP and bring down the government by bringing the Kumaraswamy government into a minority. I'm Roni Swami and I'll be answering your questions. Please do remember to post your questions here and I'll try and answer as much as I can in terms of developments. At the same time, let's start with a brief as to what has been happening. Uh, in the last 48 hours, actually, there's been a lot of development in the Karnataka Assembly. Now, number one is that the kind of dramatic uh, the kind of discussion that is taking place, not just because it is a discussion on the trust vote, but it is also because there are a lot of questions that are being raised on the powers of the speaker, the powers of the governor, and powers of the chief minister, as well as whether Kumaraswamy's government is in minority right now, whether they are buying time, whether the BJP is in a hurry to form the government, and so on. Abhijit, thank you so much for your question. When will this drama end? Well, this is, let me tell you one thing. A couple of things. Let me ask you to also repeat your questions as and when they come. I will try and answer one by one. The speaker, let me take the question on the speaker, whether he's doing the right thing. The speaker, within his rights and his powers, as of now, is following the rule book. Now, Mr. Ramesh Kumar, if you see, is a seasoned politician, a person who has more than 3 decades in politics as well. At the same time, what we also need to understand is that there is a lot of speculation, a lot of allegations that have been raised against the speaker on the floor of the house too. And so the speaker also has decided that he will play by the rule book completely. Now today we saw an extremely interesting development, and that is that the Karnataka governor had set a deadline to the chief minister as to I just had a deadline to the chief minister to hold the trust vote by 1:30 p.m. But clearly, the coalition government, the Congress and JDS, were in no mood to hold that. And the speaker also said that that what the governor has said has been accepted by the House, but the trust vote will be taken only after the discussion on the trust motion is complete. Now, one thing that is being raised is that the governor's intervening, asking for the trust vote, could hold valid under the constitution, and this some of the analysts are saying is only if the trust motion is not underway, or there is a delaying tactics that is being used by the ruling government. But here, the argument that is being put by the ruling government is that they already have moved the trust motion and discussion is on, and every MLA who has sought for discussions will also need to get a place and time to discuss that. Avanti Sharma is asking whether there are fresh elections. Well, there are two things to this. Number one, there is a move that they are looking for fresh elections, but the question is whether the BJP, the Congress and the JDS are ready for it. Now, the BJP right now, their one-point agenda is to show that the Kumaraswamy government is in the minority, and as well, and show that they have the numbers on their side. And clearly, the halfway mark, which is 105, they are right now 105 plus 2 independents supporting them, 107. They're clearly in the majority, and that is why they hurry to go ahead and try and stake claim to form the government. But the Karnataka ruling government, headed by Kumaraswamy, has decided and that they will now put down every single detail on the floor of the house, because as you've been listening and you've been trying to, if you've been following, you've heard that they're talking about purging the system. Let everything come out. The speaker talks about it, and so do the political parties. Vijendra says, do you think the MLAs are being kept forcefully? Well, clearly the petitions that they have put in front of the Supreme Court say that they have not been kept at ransom, or for that matter forcefully, in Mumbai. They are there at their own will. But yes, if you actually see, it is these dissident MLAs, 16 of them, who are holding the entire government to ransom. It's the other way around. But it is interesting in terms of to understand how this development will play out and what precedent it sends. Now, number one, I was telling you about the powers of the governor as well, and whether this is intervention was necessary or not. But the BJP did approach the governor, and that is why he took a stand like that. Sri Shamurthy asked, can the governor ask for president rules? Yes, that is one of invoking Article 356. That could be one of the options, but I'm also told that at this time, uh, the center is in no mood to implement it, because even the Supreme Court had said unless there's a complete breakdown of the machinery, and that there is no government that is in majority, that the governor can ask for president's rule. But as of now, clearly the BJP is in majority. Viresh says, how long can this be delayed by the governor? Well, the delaying tactics is not by the governor as much as right now it is in terms of the coalition government, who have used this entire uh, platform of the Legislative Assembly. Today, they have raised the bribery charges of the BJP, claiming that they have tried to buy over their MLAs. They have MLAs who have been saying that they were offered money from 5 crores up to 20 crores. Krishna Bhai Regowda, one of the ministers, RDPR ministers in the Karnataka government, said that up to 30 crores were being offered to MLAs to cross over to the BJP. And at this time, interesting an observation that is also made by DK Shivkumar is that the BJP remained silent, actually, when this entire allegation was made on the floor of the House. Furthermore, Krishna Bhairagowda, another Congress minister, also said that a privilege motion should have been moved to the BJP if they felt so. They felt that this was against the way that they have been actually working right now, and only goes on to claim that possibly that the BJP is directly involved in trying to lure these MLAs across. Now, we're also looking for questions that can be coming up. Just let me take a quick question. Vinayak Nayak says, is the governor empowered constitutionally to intervene? Yes, he is empowered constitutionally. He has and Hirendra says, do you think the delaying tactic is to provoke the center? Of course, this clearly is a way of provoking the center as well as the opposition at this time. But the governor is well within his constitutional rights right now. But as the situation pans out, the question is whether this situation demands whether there's an intervention that is needed from the governor. Now, let me also say, Parimal at Halne again, we have witnessed partisan roles of the speaker and the governor. Do you think, because this is one of the question of debate that has been taking place about the powers of the political party, and that is where clearly the Supreme Court also intervened and said that the rebel MLAs have the right to, if they want to decide whether they want to be part of the trust vote. Basically, that means they have diluted the power of the whip. But we have seen earlier where the roles of the speaker and the governor have been questioned. But right now, the whole idea is that Karnataka wants to set a precedent in terms of what has happened in what could possibly happen in terms of bringing out the best of the constitution of the country. Now, is there any chance of disqualification of MLAs? Asked Vijayendra CV. Well, there is all the chances for them to be disqualified, because they have given enough and more reasons for the parties to do so. But the party will look at disqualification only and only after they have decided and discussed the trust motion during the trust motion. This is up to the political parties to decide, and what happens in legislature is a completely different ruling. But yes, there are all chances of them being disqualified. But it is an interesting way of looking at it also. Apart from this, that there is a possibility that these rebel MLAs themselves would be, the BJP and the coalition may distance themselves completely from them. It could be a catch-22 situation for them, where they would neither be in the BJP like they have been promised, and nor can they go back to the Congress as well as the JDS, because they have as of now what they call betrayed the coalition and stayed and kept the entire government on hold. Now, Zakaria Bharbuya says, is the Congress trying to get some BJP MLAs? Well, there is always this whole threat of that the Congress have been saying that they want to go about what is called reverse poaching. But there is, yes, talks, that back channel talks and backdoor dialogues that are taking place between the Congress and certain other possible MLAs in the BJP to see whether they are disgruntled there and would like to cross over. But what are the choices for the government as of now? Largely the choices for the government, Shreyas, is that Governor Shreyas, is that he, number one, asks which he has right now, sought a report from the government as to why they did not fall in line with his directive. Number two, he can also invoke Article 356 or ask for President's rule. Number three, he could also say that there's a complete breakdown of machinery because of this, and because the present coalition is not abiding by what the governor has said. Because the government, it clearly says the government can intervene and he can ask for it. But if the government is in minority and if the governor thinks that the government cannot stay in place, then there is a possibility that he can raise this issue. But the question also that is being said is that in this particular case, that since the trust motion is on, the governor's directive does not hold good. Should Kumaraswamy resign? That is a demand of the opposition. Should generally, at this point of time, a person like Kumaraswamy is not a one who's going to go down without a fight. And as one of the political analysts in Karnataka has said, that history has never forgiven anybody who has not gone down without a fight. And so that is exactly why, because they would like to go back with the sympathy vote back to the people if they lose this particular trust motion. But we can expect at least this discussion to go on with several, at least 20 to 30 more MLAs who are ready to speak on the floor of the House. You can expect this political drama to continue for a while now, also because one needs to understand how the constitution works and the legislature works. Neeraj Kumar says, can this be termed the breakdown of the constitutional machinery based on the recommendation of the governor or the union cabinet? Can the governor dissolve the assembly? Yes, he can, based on the recommendation, but he needs to discuss with the council of ministers. Viresh asked, how long can it be dragged by the speaker? Well, it's not the speaker who's dragging as much, because if you see, he, as a role of the speaker, he has been trying to say that everybody needs a chance to speak, and they are providing that. And the secondly, this whole dragging process is a way of Kumaraswamy also trying to buy time, because like one of our viewers right now was saying, that there are chances of them trying to woo at least some more legislators towards their side, because as of now, the numbers are not favorable to the Congress-JDS coalition. So they will try as much as possible to try and get people on board, or at least the support of them. There's also hope from the Congress-JDS that some of the disgruntled BJP MLAs may even cross-vote during the voting. But all this is why they are buying time. Either there should be fresh polls of JDS and Congress, which should stop wasting the money and the taxpayers' money by resigning. Well, that is what generally the people have been saying, that this entire political process that is taking place is eating on the taxpayers' money. At the same time, we should also understand that while we should allow the legislature to work according to rules, there is a sense of debate that also needs to understand. If this debate did not take place on the floor of the assembly, the people of this country would not understand as to what are the reasons behind certain decisions have been taken. Now, for example, the point in which that was raised on the floor of the House, especially when it comes to the governor's intervention, is for the asking for the trust vote. They have quoted the particular Supreme Court ruling of 2016, where in Arunachal Pradesh, the Supreme Court intervened, saying that that at that point of time, the governor should not have intervened into the legislature, and that is how this is what they are quoting. Does the Supreme Court law violate the anti-defection law? Well, it is not for me to say at this time, because I'm unaware whether it has violated that, but clearly there has been an unprecedented decision by the Supreme Court, where on one hand the Supreme Court has empowered the speaker, saying you cannot fetter down the speaker, but on the other hand, they have also given a free hand to the legislators, which dilutes the powers of the political parties. So as of now, thank you so much, because there are a lot of developments that continue in the Karnataka Assembly. We will be seeing whether such kind of issues will arise. I apologize for that distraction, but like I was saying, we will continue to take your questions, and we hope that we'll see that we can discuss. And please continue to put on your questions and your comments on the Print YouTube site, as well as do read our stories here at the Print, at the website, theprint.in, and we will continue to give you updates. Thank you very much.